Bungo Stray Dogs has recently started its 5th season, and the hype for it is through the roof. The 4th season has set it up perfectly to be a masterpiece. So I think it's time I talk about one of my personal favorite characters in the series, Chuya Nakahara. And without further ado, I am Tiago with Attack on Tiago, and for today's video, I'll be going over the character, Chuya Nakahara. Now, I know many of you have probably seen Bungo Stray Dogs, but in case you haven't, here is a general premise of this series. Having been kicked out of the orphanage, a despairing young man by the name of Atsushi rescues a strange man from a suicide attempt, Osamu Dazai. And turns out that Dazai is part of an armed detective agency staffed by individuals whose supernatural powers take on a literary bent. Now, the mangaka based every character in Bungo Stray Dogs after a real-life author or poet, and that is the case when it comes to Chuya. Chuya Nakahara was an author prominent in the early 1900s, and became very famous for translating French work to Japanese. Two authors in particular were very influential on Chuya's work, Arthur Rimbaud and Paul Verlaine, and both ended up having a huge impact on Chuya's life. Now, when it comes to the Bungo Stray Dogs character, Chuya was a test subject for both Rimbaud and Verlaine. They ended up accidentally breaking the seal of Arahabaki, a god of calamity and destruction, who then ends up merging with 7-year-old Chuya. Chuya and Rimbaud meet again later in life, where Chuya ends up killing Rimbaud and donning his hat as his own. But the connections get even more insane. Ogai Mori is the boss of the Port Mafia, the group Chuya ends up joining. But did you know that the author Chuya's name was given to him by Ogai Mori, who was Chuya's father's superior as a military doctor at the time? The author even incorporated the history when it comes to Osamu Dazai, Chuya's former partner at the Port Mafia. Apparently, Chuya and Dazai had to work on a magazine together one time, and both couldn't stand each other. And while drinking at a bar, the two of them called each other a mackerel and a slug. Well, for any Bungo Stray Dogs fans, they know that Chuya and Dazai's partnership in the series always consisted of them butting heads. But to top it all off, they each have each other saved on their phones as Mackerel and Slug. So much detail the manga put into every single character in Bungo Stray Dogs. It's incredible, as seen clearly with the little tidbits lent to Chuya's character. Now, enough with the overall connections, let's talk about Chuya's character in the series. Chuya is powerful. Let me just make that very clear. With the god of calamity and destruction in him, Chuya is probably the most powerful and dangerous character in the entire series. With the god, he has been given the ability upon the Tainted Sorrow, which gives Chuya complete control over gravity manipulation. And as overpowered as that already is, he has access to corruption, which essentially magnifies his power to overbearing limits, but at the cost of control, which in turn helped when he was paired with Dazai in the Port Mafia, since Dazai was able to nullify Chuya and bring him back to his senses if he raged out too long. Chuya, though, has one flaw that is exposed by nearly everyone he encounters, as everyone always seems to point it out. He is quite short. Yes, Chuya is what we'd like to call a short king, in every sense of those two words. He is both a short king in the anime, but also when it comes to screen time. You see, Chuya isn't even in the top 6 characters when it comes to screen time in the series, and yet he is still one of the most popular and beloved characters, only coming second to Dazai in overall favorites on both AniList and MyAnimeList. But every little bit of screen time that they give Chuya is always earned, from his badass moments, to his snarky remarks, to his comedic timing, especially when together with Dazai, to the great flashback episodes where we got to see the making of the most powerful duo in Bungo Stray Dogs. And as much as we'd all love to see Chuya as much as possible, the mangaka does a perfect job with him, keeping him in short doses to keep the viewer always feeling satisfied, but wanting more. Plus, if Chuya was a main character, almost every fight in Bungo Stray Dogs would be meaningless, since there's almost no way for Chuya to lose. All of this said, I love Chuya. Easily my second favorite character in the series, behind Dazai, of course. Even though characters like Rampo, Nikolai, and Fyodor are all amazing as well, Chuya, I think, was a perfectly written character for the series, even though he may be short when it comes to screen time. Well everyone, that is it for the video. What are your guys' thoughts on Chuya and Bungo Stray Dogs in general? Please let me know in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me. I am Tiago, the Attack on Tiago, and I hope you all have a nice day.